Welcome to the kitchen at Antilal. I'm Chef Delato, and I'm here today to show you how to keep your knives sharp in your kitchen at home. Dull knives are not good to use. If you cut yourself with a dull knife, usually the injury is a lot worse than if the knife were sharp. When you have your knives at home, what you want to do is first identify what material the knife is made out of. A carbon stainless knife, which is the one you would prefer, has a combination of carbon and stainless. In order to work it on the steel, you're going to need a bevel on the edge of the blade. If you look very closely at the edge, it's the part that has an angle to it. A steel can be used to sharpen that, but if you don't have a bevel on the knife, you won't be able to sharpen it with the steel. Now, there are two types of stones, an oil stone or a wet stone. This is an oil stone. So it's necessary to start, when you have two different degrees of coarseness, you start with a coarse and work your way towards fine. You place your knife on the stone flat, and what you want is an angle of about 11 degrees. And we put the heel of the knife on one end of the stone and work the knife from the heel to the tip from one end of the stone to the other. What's important is not so much the speed that you use, but the pressure that you put on the knife onto the stone. The pressure is what's going to give the knife a nice bevel, okay? And once you hear that nice sound, you keep the pressure on the top of the knife and you work it maybe 20 to 30 times. Okay, you do that on one end of the knife and then you work it the other way. When you sharpen your knife, don't overdo it because you can make a knife too sharp. Once the stone has put in a bevel on a knife, we move on and we learn how to use our steel. And what the steel does is it sharpens the edge on the bevel, and it also removes any particles that might be on the blade that occurred during the process of using the stone. Basically, you want to use the steel in the same manner that you use the stone. You start with the heel and work towards the tip, working towards yourself. We will sharpen both sides of the knife simply by going on the top one stroke and then putting it on the bottom of the steel and running it towards me another. Running it on the steel more than 10 to 15 strokes is probably a waste of your time, because if you haven't accomplished anything by that many strokes, you're not going to. Okay. That sound, Keith, when you hear that at the end, that means you have enough pressure on it. Now that the knife has been sharpened, before you use it, it's best to clean your knife. Rinse it with water, hot water, take a paper towel, keeping the edge away from you, pull the knife away, and you can see there's material from the stone, there's material from the steel. That needs to be taken off before you prepare food.